Hey Celtics fans, we have some major updates coming out of Boston, and this one is really going to make you pay attention. Jaylen Brown, one of the cornerstones of the Celtics lineup, went down in the preseason finale against the Toronto Raptors with tightness in his left hamstring. This happened about 7 minutes into the first quarter, and unfortunately, he did not return to the game. For a team that is counting on its stars to carry the load, this is the kind of news that immediately raises questions about the start of the season, the team's rotation, and what it might mean for their performance over the next few weeks. But before we jump into any speculations about missed games or potential recovery timelines, let's take a moment to break down exactly what happened on the floor, because understanding the play can give us a clearer picture of the severity of this injury. In transition, Brown received an outlet pass and moved down the court with the ball. Around midcourt, he made a pass up ahead to Anthony Simons, and on that play, nothing immediately signaled that he had tweaked anything. It looked routine at first glance, smooth and natural. However, as the possession progressed and Boston transitioned back into defense, you could already notice him jogging gingerly, clearly favoring that left leg. By the next stoppage, he had made the decision to leave the court entirely, walking straight to the locker room. This is always concerning because hamstring injuries are notoriously tricky. They can be aggravated easily if not given the proper time to heal, and in some cases, a single misstep early in the season can affect a player's performance for weeks. Interestingly, if we look at the footage a bit earlier in the game, there is a play where Brown drove into the paint amid a crowded defense. He tripped and fell to the floor, landing awkwardly. While he did continue to play several more possessions after that fall, it's possible that this incident planted the seed for what would later manifest as the hamstring tightness. It's always difficult to pinpoint the exact moment an injury occurs, but anyone who has watched enough basketball knows that these injuries often develop gradually from strain rather than a single, obvious impact. The result, however, is the same. One of Boston's top players is sidelined, at least temporarily, and the timing couldn't be more concerning with the regular season right around the corner. Coach Joe Mazzulla spoke briefly after the game about Brown's condition. While there wasn't a detailed medical update, Mazzulla expressed cautious optimism, saying that Brown felt he would be okay. The coach emphasized that the team would have a more thorough evaluation in the days to come, which will hopefully clarify whether Brown misses just a few games or requires a longer period of rest. Historically, Brown has had issues with both knees and hamstrings, and looking back at previous seasons, he missed a chunk of time due to a hamstring strain in late 2021, sidelining him for 8 games before re-aggravating the injury and missing an additional 5. This shows the importance of careful management, especially in the early stages of the season, where rushing a return could lead to setbacks. From a team perspective, the potential absence of Brown presents some challenges, particularly in terms of rotation and wing depth. The lineup Boston has experimented with in the preseason, Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, Brown, Chris Boucher, and Nima Kadei, might be the one they aim to start with on opening night. But with Brown potentially unavailable, the Celtics will need to adjust. Sam Hauser could slide into the 3 spot, but that comes with a trade-off. Losing Brown means losing one of the team's premier two-way players, someone capable of creating his own shot and guarding multiple positions at an elite level. While Hauser is talented and can knock down threes with efficiency, the jump from Brown's skill set to Hauser's is significant, both offensively and defensively. This is where depth players like Pritchard, White, and Anthony Simons will need to step up, contributing more in scoring, defense, and playmaking to compensate for Brown's absence. The stakes are high because for the Celtics to remain competitive this season, Brown will need to play the majority of games. Analysts often suggest that hitting a benchmark of around 65 games is crucial not only for team success, but also for eligibility in end-of-season awards. Falling short of that could shift Boston's trajectory from a legitimate playoff contender to fighting for a play-in spot, or worse, potentially missing the postseason entirely. Despite these concerns, there are reasons to remain optimistic. Boston's preseason performance has shown flashes of cohesion and depth, particularly from players like Josh Minott and Chris Boucher, who have impressed with their on-court impact. Boucher, in particular, has been a standout, showing versatility and defensive presence, which suggests he might earn a starting role on opening night. Meanwhile, attention is also turning to Hugo Gonzalez, Boston's first-round draft pick, who has been turning heads in the preseason. Originally expected to spend significant time in the G League, Gonzalez has demonstrated readiness to contribute immediately. His energy, effort, and understanding of defensive rotations have stood out, and while his offensive polish and three-point shooting are still developing, his potential to carve out a meaningful role early in the season is real. Comments from teammates highlight his professionalism and high basketball IQ, emphasizing that he has experience playing at a competitive level and consistently puts in the work to improve. If Gonzalez can maintain this trajectory, he could provide the Celtics with valuable depth on the wing, particularly if Brown is sidelined for any stretch of games. The team's mindset has also been noteworthy. Jaylen Brown himself has expressed confidence in the supporting cast, noting that while the roster may face challenges, there is sufficient talent to compete with other teams. This perspective is crucial for team morale, especially when dealing with injuries to star players. The Celtics' coaching staff will need to balance giving Gonzalez, Hauser, and other young players meaningful minutes, while ensuring that Brown is not rushed back too soon, maintaining a careful approach to avoid further complications with the hamstring. Even with this injury situation, the Celtics have reason to be optimistic about their depth and rotation. Players like Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, and Chris Boucher have shown flashes of consistency and can help stabilize the team in Brown's absence. The potential for Gonzalez to step up as a rotational wing adds another layer of flexibility, giving the coaching staff options for lineup adjustments. The early season could serve as a testing ground, allowing Boston to evaluate players in real-game scenarios while keeping Brown healthy for the more critical portions of the schedule. From a fan perspective, it's natural to feel anxious about Brown's status, but the team's approach reflects a thoughtful balance between immediate competitiveness and long-term health. History has shown that managing star players' workloads, especially after injuries, can be pivotal in sustaining a deep playoff run. If Boston navigates this carefully, they could emerge even stronger once Brown returns to full health. The upcoming games will be telling. With the season opener against the Philadelphia 76ers approaching, Brown's availability remains a question mark. If he does miss the first game or a few early matchups, the Celtics will rely on depth, experience, and the preseason development of players like Gonzalez to carry them. It's a delicate balance, but one that Boston seems prepared to handle. Observing how the rotation adapts and which players step into expanded roles will be crucial for fans following the team closely in these first weeks of the season. Now, looking deeper into the wing rotation and what the Celtics can realistically expect if Jaylen Brown is sidelined, the picture gets a little more complicated but also intriguing. Sam Hauser is the first player that comes to mind to fill the 3 spot, and while he's reliable as a shooter and brings solid spacing to the floor, the question becomes whether he can truly replicate the two-way impact that Brown provides. Brown isn't just scoring, he's a defender capable of guarding multiple positions, creating mismatches, and generating momentum-changing plays. Hauser, while competent, simply doesn't have the same versatility or athleticism. That means Boston will need to lean on other players to compensate for the drop-off, both offensively and defensively, which puts added pressure on the depth chart. Players like Peyton Pritchard and Derek White will need to elevate their roles. Pritchard has shown flashes of scoring efficiency, defensive awareness, and a willingness to make plays for others, but stepping into a more prominent role consistently is a different challenge. Derek White, already an established part of the rotation, will likely see expanded responsibilities on both ends of the court. Then there's Chris Boucher, who has arguably been the most effective impact player throughout the preseason. Boucher's ability to stretch the floor with his shooting, combined with his defensive presence in the paint, gives the Celtics a critical tool if Brown's minutes are limited. Boucher's versatility allows him to act as both a secondary creator and a defensive anchor, providing some stability in the lineup as other players adjust to new responsibilities. Beyond the immediate rotation, the real wildcard is Hugo Gonzalez. The rookie has been making waves in training camp and preseason matchups, showing energy, defensive instincts, and the ability to contribute in multiple ways. His offensive game is still developing, but what sets him apart is his understanding of positioning, timing, and the nuances of professional-level basketball. Gonzalez's ability to rotate defensively, contest shots, and grab key rebounds gives the coaching staff confidence that he can hold his own, even against more experienced opponents. If he continues on this trajectory, he could become a reliable piece off the bench, and in scenarios where Brown misses games, Gonzalez might see increased minutes, helping to bridge the gap. The Celtics are clearly invested in seeing how he performs under real game pressure, and the early season could provide the perfect testing ground. One aspect to watch is how the team adapts its offensive schemes in Brown's absence. Jaylen has been a go-to option for creating shots both for himself and for teammates. Without him on the floor, Boston may need to rely more heavily on ball movement, off-ball screens, and spacing to generate quality opportunities. Players like Pritchard, White, and Simons will be asked to read defenses more aggressively, find open lanes, and make plays in transition. Boucher can serve as a focal point inside, but the responsibility for initiating offense will naturally shift outward. This could actually provide a valuable growth opportunity for some of the younger wings, allowing them to see how they handle increased decision-making and pressure while still benefiting from the structure of Boston's system. Defensively, the Celtics will have to compensate for the loss of Brown's versatility. Brown can guard both wings and forwards effectively, switching seamlessly and disrupting offensive flow. In his absence, other players will need to communicate more, rotate quickly, and maintain disciplined positioning to prevent opponents from exploiting mismatches. This might result in heavier minutes for White or Pritchard, or creative lineup adjustments where someone like Boucher stretches to cover more perimeter responsibility than usual. The coaching staff's ability to experiment and make smart in-game adjustments will be key, particularly in the opening games of the season when the team is still establishing chemistry and rhythm. It's also worth considering the mental aspect. Brown's presence on the court is not only about tangible stats, but also about leadership and confidence. His teammates look to him in crucial moments, and his ability to make high-pressure plays often sets the tone. Without him, the Celtics will need to rely on emerging leaders to maintain intensity and focus. Players like White and Pritchard will be essential in keeping energy levels high, motivating teammates, and stepping into the leadership vacuum, even if temporarily. The team's depth will be tested, but this can also foster growth and cohesion as players adapt to new roles. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. Whispers are swirling through the NBA grapevine, and Boston fans might want to brace themselves. Malcolm Brogdon, the savvy guard known for his sharp basketball IQ and clutch instincts, could be making a sensational return to the city where he once left a mark. Sources close to the situation suggest that Brogdon has agreed to a deal with the Boston Celtics, sending shockwaves across the Eastern Conference. It's the kind of story that fuels speculation and excitement in equal measure. Brogdon, whose career has seen him blend scoring, playmaking, and leadership in a rare cocktail, has always been a player who commands attention. The notion of him donning green again, returning to the city's storied basketball heart, is enough to get the rumor mills churning. Celtics insiders are reportedly intrigued by what Brogdon could bring: veteran poise, perimeter shooting, and an ability to elevate the game of those around him. Boston's roster, already stacked with talent, could suddenly look even more formidable if this deal goes through. Imagine the symphony of fast breaks, pinpoint passes, and late-game heroics with Brogdon orchestrating the attack. The timing seems almost too perfect. As the Celtics chase deep playoff runs, adding a player of Brogdon's caliber might be the secret ingredient to push them over the edge. Fans are already buzzing on social media, dissecting potential lineups and dreaming of buzzer-beating sequences with Brogdon's signature calm under pressure. Even rival teams are taking notice, as the rumor suggests a shift in Boston's dynamic that could reverberate across the league. Analysts are speculating about the strategic fit, imagining how Brogdon's return might redefine rotations and spacing. Of course, at this stage, nothing is officially confirmed, but the buzz is undeniable. Brogdon to Boston. It's the kind of story that makes the NBA offseason feel electric, a tale of familiarity, talent, and a city that knows how to welcome its basketball heroes home. Whether it's a full-fledged signing or just a fleeting flirtation, the Celtics universe is watching, waiting, and imagining the dazzling possibilities of a Brogdon renaissance in Boston. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.